Let's talk some combat sports. This is something Rick I know would really like to discuss. So let's move on to UFC 243. It's coming up on Saturday at Marvel Stadium in Melbourne, Australia. Headline bout features a middleweight championship match between Israel Adesanya and Robert Whittaker. Whittaker, who's the champion, is an even money plus 100 underdog against the Last Stylebender Adesanya, who is the interim champion. Adesanya available at minus 130 moneyline odds. Rick, who will leave Melbourne as the undisputed middleweight champion of the world?
You know, I remember when hockey used to be a combat sport, but I'm just going to leave that alone for now. This is going to be an epic fight. This has 5 rounds written all over it. I really like the matchup because they're both fearless strikers and they both have their own styles coming into this. Israel, he's got those kicks. He's probably got the advantage with kicks, but you can't sleep on Whittaker's kicking game because he had some he dictated the fight against Romero. I can't remember if it was the first or the second one, using the kick as like a jab. And then when you get into the distance, Israel has the advantage there. He's got like a 6.5 reach advantage. He's 4 inches taller. So his goal is going to be to keep it, further apart, try and pick apart Whittaker, like he did with Gastelum, who at times looked good, put the pressure on, got in close, roughed him up a little bit and stuff like that. Whittaker's better than Gastelum. Whittaker is probably the best striker in the whole middleweight division. Not only is he good with some kicks, but he's probably faster in terms of his striking. He's probably got the power advantage as well. And I think he might even have a better ground game. I'm leaning towards Whittaker in this one. I'm excited for this fight because I can see it going both ways, but I really like Whittaker's toughness. I think Gastelum exposed some weaknesses with the interim champion, and I think Whittaker is going to be able to build off that. I think he's better in close quarters, where Gastelum looked like he was getting some points and racking up some rounds in that fight when he fought Israel earlier this year. I just like Whittaker in this one. I know it's been a while since he's been inside the octagon. You're getting the champ as an underdog at an even payout. The value's there also. Everything to me is pointing towards Whittaker getting the edge. I actually predicted it to be a split decision for Whittaker. I really think he has more advantages in this fight than his opponent does. But either way, no matter the outcome, it's going to be a fantastic fight. This is going to be one of the best fights of the year.
Yeah, these are 2 of the best strikers in the middleweight division. I think Adesanya might have a slight advantage in that regard, but it's comparable enough to where it's kind of a toss-up. You mentioned Whittaker not having fought in about a year. I think that's kind of a red flag. And I do like that Adesanya has that 7-inch reach advantage, like you also said. So I think I would take Adesanya as a slight favorite, but I do note that the value is better on Whittaker, so I would be tempted by the plus 100. I just think it's close enough to where you might as well just take the plus odds if you're going to actually bet on it.
Yeah, I would take Whittaker as far as a bet goes because that 1-1 is just a nice payout to be able to get in a situation where you're betting on the champion, the non-interim champion. I really like Adesanya. I think that Israel Adesanya is a great fighter. I think he's an incredible personality, and I'm really excited to see this fight. I think that Whittaker, that layoff is going to be interesting to see what impact or what effect that may or may not have on it. It's also going to be interesting to see what Adesanya does against this caliber of competition because his career over the span of it, he's taken very big steps from fight to fight as far as the competition that he's facing goes. And this Robert Whittaker is, I would think it has to be the biggest competition he's faced to this point in his young career. So I'm curious to see what he can do. I'd probably take Whittaker just because there's more of a known factor there, even if he's had that layoff and he's available at 1-1 payout. But I would not be shocked if Adesanya came away with a win in this situation. I could see it being split, as Rick said, if this ends up going the full 5 rounds. Rick, there are a number of other great fights that are on this card. We've got the co-main event between Dan Hooker and Iaquinta is one of them. So aside from the main event, what fight on the card offers the best betting value from what you've seen?
There was really only two or three fights that even have close betting odds where they're within the main event, basically. The main event -1. I've seen the main event anywhere from Adesanya was minus 130 down to like minus 110, 112. Whittaker plus 100 to like minus 110. There's only one other fight that's even close to those kind of odds. So there's not a lot of betting opportunities in terms of saying, okay, well, you pick either fight or you're going to get good value. With that said, though, I really like the co-main event on this show because I think Raging Al has a chance to win this fight. I think people are writing him off because he lost to Cerrone, but that was an epic fight, and I don't think he had the best game plans for that fight. I think he might have underestimated Cowboy in that one, but I don't think he's going to underestimate Hooker in this fight. This is going to be a slugfest. This could end up being a 3-round war where it's a bloody mess, or someone can get knocked out in the first minute or two because these are two hard hitters, two sluggers, two people that want to knock out whoever they face inside the octagon. I like Raging Al in this fight. I think he has all the tools here to beat Hooker. I think he's a more proven commodity also. If you look at it, he's the one fighter that's given Khabib his toughest test. For all 5 rounds, he kept pushing the pace and putting the pressure on Khabib. He went the full 5 rounds with him. Like, I'm not ready to write off Raging Al. He's ranked 6th in division. Hooker's 15th. I think he's an underdog pick for this pay-per-view, and I think there could be a good payout. Whatever they're at right now, I've seen them anywhere from plus 150 to 170, anywhere in between there for Raging Al.
I hope you enjoyed that segment from the Odds On Favorites podcast. If you did, there's plenty more where that came from. Click on the link on your screen now to be taken to the complete podcast from this week, or check out the channel to find the other individual segments. And make sure to like, share, and subscribe to the Odds On Favorites YouTube channel for plenty more sports and sports betting picks, tips, and how-to guides.